Alright, Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakha Kodash. I'd like to double honors the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Rule Well, and peace and salutation to the Hakim around the world that pushes truth and sincerity. I was just doing some searching, I happened to come across this. They call it the Jewish or Christian Canon, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, to be able to show that the Apocrypha was actually a part of the original books before they were taken out, right? So it's a biblical canon or canon of scripture is a set of texts or books which a particular religion, community, a particular religious community regards as authoritative scriptures, meaning what they class as scriptures to put in and scriptures to take out, which is why you'll see a lot of beliefs have their own canon, as they say, and they just take out and put in as much as suits their belief system. Like how you'll see the Catholics only have, like, I think it's the Maccabees and Psalms and Proverbs from the Old Testament, and then they'll just have the New. I think they might have a few others, if any, in the Old, but they don't have the complete Old Testament. Mostly New, and just a few from the Old. You understand? It's the English word canon comes from the Greek, meaning rule or measuring stick, right? So that is their way of actually balancing what scriptures to keep in and what scriptures to take out, because, well, they have the power to do so, right? And that is probably the main reason why, one of the main reasons why you don't see the Apocrypha anymore on the versions of the Bible today, because the people who actually print in the Bible, based on how their canon is, they don't acknowledge the apocryphal scriptures. Yes, no, that is Revelations 22 verse 18. It says, "For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man should take away from the words of the book of this prophecy," which is what they did, "the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book." You understand? So the people who doing these things right now is truly ordained to do it, but they will have a punishment to bear for what it is they did. Because as usual, they try to hide the scriptures from us. Right, there's development of the Hebrew Bible canon, right? You see, this article is about the selection of books which make up the Tanakh, right? For the fixing of the text itself, right? That is for the first part. So this article is about the Jewish canon. For the Christian canon, see developments of the Old Testament canon. You say Rabbinic Judaism recognizes the 24 books of the Masoretic texts, commonly called the Tanakh or Hebrew Bible, as authoritative, right? So in other words, that is what the 24 books that they class, that is what they could be able to publish, because it works with it works out for them. It's a modern scholarship suggests that the most recent written are the books of Jonah, Lamentations, and Daniel, all of which have been composed as late as the 2nd century BCE, which we know BC refers to before Christ, which we know is Mashiach, right, before his birth. You see, the book of Deuteronomy includes a prohibition against adding or subtracting. Just read it in Revelation about adding and taking away, which might apply to the book itself, i.e. a closed book. A prohibition against the future scribal editing, right? Or to the instruction received by Moses on Mount Sinai. But they didn't hearken on to this because, well, it's prophecy. Yes, they talk about the Maccabees, it's talk about laying hold of the book of the law, which the heathen had sought to paint their image. They're always trying to change things in our book to manipulate us. So the book of 2nd Maccabees itself, not a part of the Jewish canon, describes Nehemiah around 400 BC as having founded a library and collecting books about the kings and prophets, and the writings of David and letters of kings about votive offerings. The book of Nehemiah suggests that the priest scribe Ezra brought the Torah back from Babylon to Jerusalem, and the second temple around the same time period. Both 1 and 2 Maccabees suggests that Judas Maccabeus around 167 BCE. Now, I don't know exactly the time period that the Maccabeus event happened. Also collected sacred books, right? Say there is no scholarly consensus as to when the Hebrew Bible canon was fixed. Some scholars argue that it was fixed by the Hasmonean dynasty 140 to 40 BCE, while others argue it was not fixed until the 2nd century CE or even later. Now we know that the Apocrypha was in the original KJV, so we know that this happened sometime after that, because when King James was around, it was actually in the original one that he published. So it's sometime afterwards, when Esau regained rulership, that is when they started controlling these things and took the books out once again, because it didn't correlate with what it is he would like us to know, right? Instead, the Catholic Pontifical Biblical Commission says that the more restricted Hebrew canon is later than the formation of the New Testament, and it is later, way later. But this is just to get an idea that it have a particular system that governs the putting in and taking out of particular books. That is why you'll see a lot of different Bibles does have certain books that they leave in and certain books that they take out, because they have a system that actually governs that, and apparently it's called the Canon, which they use to be able to determine, all right, this book we could leave in because it goes along with what it is we want, and this book we had to take out, and so forth and so forth. You know, so I thought I would share that with the brothers. Hope it was edifying. You know, and with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakha Kodash. I'd like to double honor the apostles and others of great mills to not rule well, and peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that pushes truth and sincerity. This is Abba from Trinidad Camp saying Shalom.